These are my favorite books, and I own one. This one. I owned one. I went to the library and got all of these books. I couldn't even get all of them. Read sitting there.
Bloopers.
Hey guys, it's Kylie, and welcome to the first video blog for A Slice of Kai. I decided I want to make videos every once in a while, and I decided the best one to possibly start with is a favorites video from the entire year of 2015. So I'm going to show you guys my 6 favorite books that I read in 2015. It doesn't mean they came out. I think a couple of them might have, but that's not a criteria. It's just anything that I read in 2015 that was one of my favorites. I'm going to start with 3 that were just really, really good, but then I do have the last 3 are on my all-time favorites list. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first book, and one of the very first books I read last year, is this one, Yes Please by Amy Poehler. I love Amy Poehler and I love Tina Fey, and so once I saw that Amy Poehler was coming out with a book, I instantly added it to my Christmas list because I love her so much. And not just because she's funny, but she's really into celebrating women and strong women, smart women, powerful women, and just trying to promote other women. I just really, really liked her accounts in this book. Some of the funniest stories, one of them on an airplane with Tina Fey and another woman from SNL, I think. And they were talking the whole time. This guy got really mad and she chased him, yelling at him. Also, one of my favorite parts is throughout the book, I don't know if you'll be able to see this really, but there's, call them big ass quotes. And it's at the beginning of every chapter. She's got these really, really big quotes. Nobody looks stupid when they're having fun. None of them are groundbreaking, but it's just nice little things to remind yourself about. This book's part memoir, but it's also kind of like a self-help and humor all put together. She's been through a lot of stuff, so it's hard for her to talk about her life and not drop some knowledge along the way. The next book that I'm going to talk about is one that so many people have read, very late to the game. It came out in, what, 92, I think, maybe? But it is this. It is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I think that's how you say it. If you're one of the strange people that has not heard of this series, which now that they have a TV show, I'm honestly just surprised. It is about Claire Randall. She stumbles back in time in Scotland when she is on a trip with her husband. So it's historical fiction, but with time travel. It's not originally set in 1700s. Yeah, 1700s Scotland. She falls back into that time. It's not a classic super gaudy romance. I mean, there's definitely the moments. There's some sex scenes and stuff too, and they talk about rape. It's not gory with the rape. There's some moments. Let's just say it's 16 and older. Maybe that's safe. That's safe. Mature audiences, I guess. She's kind of just badass. The guys that a lot of the men respect her, other than the main bad guy, but he respects nobody. But the men tend to respect her, especially considering women's rights in the 1700s. There's one moment, I think it's this book. I can't remember now if it's this one or the second one, because I read both in 2015. There's one moment when Jamie spanks Claire when she makes a bad choice, and a lot of people like to get in a tizzy about that, which, I mean, at that time, if you're being historically accurate, it would make sense for him to do that. The only thing that made me mad is I feel like Claire, being a more modern woman, gave up too easily, but I think she kind of maybe had the same understanding as a character. It's really good, especially if you like time travel and you want a little bit of romance in your life, and also some cool historical fiction. I really like England, Scotland, Ireland, and the 1800s. It's some of my favorite literature time and everything, so I really enjoyed this book. So my next favorite book we're going to talk about is a monster of a book. It is Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. And when I say monster, it's 1,000 pages. It's the longest book I read, obviously. I read a lot of big books this year. Actually, I read the first and second of King Killer Chronicles series and the first and second of the Outlander, and that got me to 3,000 words alone. 3,000 words. 3,000 pages alone? Dear God. Anyways, It tells the story of Cove. He's a legend in his land. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've read. I can't remember if there's a name for it. But this one in the series is dealing with kind of like his late adolescence when he's a teen. So he's at a magical university and he's learning how to use magic and harness his powers. He kind of works as like a chemical engineer, I guess you could say. It's alchemy. I don't want to give too much away, but he starts to train how to fight in this one, and we kind of learn where he starts to get like his just total like brute force from. That's revealed in this book, not fully, of course, because Patrick Rothfuss just has to leave everything hanging. It was very much a second book in a trilogy where it's a lot of setup for hopefully a big third book, which is hopefully coming out soon because it's been 5 years since this one came out. So now the big reveal, the 3 books that made it to my all-time favorites list. The first one to talk about is closely related to the last one I just talked about, and it is this one, Name of the Wind, an original weird cover I've never seen before, by Patrick Rothfuss. So the first in the Kingkillers Chronicle. And of course, I loved it. Who reads this and doesn't love it? Patrick Rothfuss is an incredible writer. So good at picking words, which sounds weird, but you guys, you know what I mean. The reason why this one's an all-time favorite and Wise Man's Fear is not is because first in the series just always holds a special place in my heart because you're getting to like first meet characters, first meet the world. It's such like a new experience and you get pulled into it so much. That I tend to just feel more connected to the first books in series. But this one, of course, is earlier than Wise Man's Fear, so this deals with Cove's adolescence. He has a pretty tragic thing happen. It's very like superhero, legend, tragic beginnings, yielding a beautiful, strong human. But it talks about his adolescence on his own, living homeless, and trying to make his way out, trying to learn magic. And he gets to the university, not everything goes the way, he meets a girl, stuff starts to get hairy, and then move on to Wise Man's Fear and you start to learn more. It's really a great, if you love fantasies and you love coming of age stories, it's really great. It's told in a really unique way too because it's him retelling his life to a chronicler. So you get everything happening in his past, but at the same time there's more stuff developing in the present. It's just, I suggest everyone read it. Number 2 from 2015 that I made my all-time favorites, I unfortunately don't have a copy of.
Because I'm a cheap college person, I'm poor, I can't buy everything, and the library didn't have it because it's still constantly on hold because it was one of the best fiction books of 2015. I think it won Goodreads fiction or historical fiction, can't remember. But
it's Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. So it's historical fiction and it's set in France for World War II. It's a great story about 2 sisters. She's married and she has a daughter, but her husband has been pulled to the war. So she's home alone when the Germans come and take over France. And she's pretty much just trying to go along so she stays alive and keeps her daughter alive and can stay in France so that her husband knows where to find her when he comes home. And it's her balancing like a German soldier being stationed in her house and all of this stuff happening. And then to make things even harder, her younger sister that had been living in Paris with their father runs out of Paris and goes to her sister's to escape the Germans coming into the city. And she is younger, she doesn't have as much stuff tying her down, so she's like totally on the rebellious side. And so it's these sisters both dealing with the war in different ways and dealing with each other. They go through like natural changes, like they're not stuck in their ways. They grow and they see things in different ways, or things happen that change the way they see things. It's brilliant. It deserves all the great credit it's gotten. The last book I'm going to talk about today was probably, I'm really bad at ranking things, but it was probably my favorite, at least fun to read. It wasn't as heavy as like Nightingale was, it wasn't as dense as Name of the Wind was. So I really enjoyed it as a little bit lighter read. And it was this one, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Basically what it's about, there is a man that is called the Dragon, and Agnieszka, which I might be saying that wrong, she lives in the village he reigns over, or he protects them technically. technically. I don't think he technically is a king or anything. But he takes one girl from the village every year to live with him, serve him, like just give him food and all this. He doesn't have relations with them. It's nothing creepy, pedophile. But he picks a girl and Agnieszka gets picked. So she has to go live with him. And there's this thing called the woods, and it's like this living forest on the sides, and it's starting to attack the town more. And so it's all about Agnieszka and the dragon trying to figure out how to stop it, what's making it start up. They have to save people close to Agnieszka who get too close and get attacked, just discovering what it is and working together to try and fight it, although the dragon doesn't want to work with her because she's stubborn. It's a little bit gruesome at some parts with like the bad guys, but I mean, not anything worse than what you see on TV these days. Alright guys, that's it for my favorite books for 2015. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I have some more awesome videos planned, so I hope you guys keep coming back and looking forward to seeing more from me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!